let's discuss the situation at the offensive line right now.
Okay.
Teddy Prohaska out for the season. He's torn his other ACL on his knee. Just a bombshell. Turner Corcoran has been held out of practices here early in camp. So you start to zone in on that situation on the offensive line. It's scary because the margin for error is razor thin. There's possibilities. You could always move.
I wonder.
Like Micah Mazuka, or you could move a Ben Scott. Some of those guys could probably play tackle.
Could Mazuka play tackle?
I'm sure he could. But he's having such a good camp.
Okay. I was thinking about this morning. I've sounded sort of, my tone has been sort of one of alarm. As you just said, how'd you describe the situation? It's a scary situation.
Razor thin,
scary. We're using terms like that. Now I wonder if in-house they're thinking of it that way. Does Donovan think of it that way? Donovan Raiola? I don't know. Does Rule think of it that way? Would he watch our video and go, why you guys sounding these alarms? We have guys. I mean, have you ever heard of Gunnar Gatula?
Yeah, but you're talking about the Big Ten Conference here.
I know. I mean,
Gatula.
I'm representing their voice right now.
I mean, you're talking about going against NFL edge players,
right,
in one of the best linemen producing pro leagues in the country.
Mm-hmm. I'm just wondering if they can't afford to think like we do. I want to make it clear. I mean, I'm with you on it's sort of a scary situation, but it's maybe confusing to our listeners who have heard media say the offensive line and defensive line have so much depth. Then all of a sudden there's one injury and we're saying it's scary.
Well, they had 3 quality tackles. Now they have 2.
Right.
I mean, that's scary. Like,
right.
When you had,
but why would the media
because they felt like they had 3 guys, a
Yeah.
41-game starter in Bryce Benhart, a 30-game starter in Turner Corcoran, and around a 10-game starter in Teddy Prohaska at tackle.
But the fact is they didn't have a lot of depth.
They had 3. If all 3 are available, that's a great situation.
Yeah.
You take out one, but I think they're, from what I wouldn't have been surprised if Corcoran was going to win that job in the first place.
Right.
I mean,
that's
I think that's like the lead that's been buried here.
Right. I totally agree.
I think Corcoran is actually trending to beat out
to be the one. Now how do you feel about that is the question. Corcoran,
31-game starter,
which is good, but we've also seen a level of
30
struggle.
Games, sorry.
Yeah, we've also seen a level of struggle. What I hope is that Turner Corcoran says, this is it for me. I'm going to have a big year. I'm going to make this a profession, and I need to have a big year. And then you see all that talent come out. Mainly, though, you just hope he stays healthy, number one. And, I don't know.
Could better offensive play, better quarterback play actually help the O-line?
Yeah, good point.
I mean, when you have quarterbacks that miss their reads and they start scrambling around and they get hit or sacked and everyone's blaming the O-line for that, that's not really the O-line's fault.
No, it's not.
Dylan Raiola is going. I mean, I think he's going to be able to step back, make reads. He's not going to just dance around back there.
Now, will they be efficient enough up front to have a conventional running back run game? That's the other thing to watch. We've covered that, though. We don't need to cover that. Their guard situation isn't perfect either in terms of
Mazuka's good.
No, I know. I like the starters, Mazuka and Evans. But now they got an injury to Henry Latovsky. You don't know how that's going to go. Again, I say also they lose one guy and all of a sudden there's concern. If there was so much depth, why is that? See, I don't buy it. I just don't think. I think the D line has good depth. I don't think the offensive line has great depth.
I thought when you had a solid option at guard and tackle, which they did. I mean, Latovsky and Evans were there with Mazuka, and then you had 3 tackles. Like you had one
pretty good.
You had one capable guy because you don't sub on the O-line, Steve Sipple.
No, I know.
Like, remember that used to drive like old O-line coaches here crazy because the media would always ask them like, why don't you rotate more linemen in? And like Mike Cavanaugh would get just furious.
Yeah, you don't usually.
You don't rotate. You just need 5 good ones.
No, Milt didn't rotate. He would play guys in blowouts.
There might have been one swing guy that would get some reps.
Yeah, Milt Tenneper didn't rotate much.
I've always looked at this offensive line and keep this up here. They had, those 4 seniors. Those are 4 dudes. Those 2 juniors. Yes. And then Jenkins. I always thought they had 7 guys that were high level or good Big Ten solid linemen. Now they're
7.
now they're down to 6.
Yeah.
So that was the depth. I mean, to me, that's enough. If you have 7 capable players ready, but now you're down to 6.
Yeah. Now you wonder, for instance, Jason Machachak was with the 2s the other day. Sam Sledge was with the 2s. Well, all those guys. Gunnar Gatula was with the 2s. Sledge was with the 2s. Jason Machachak was with the 2s. How are those guys? Now, maybe they're fine. Maybe Donovan Raiola would say to us, why the panic? Jason Machachak's ready. He's ready to play guard if we need him. Gunner's ready to play if we need him. So maybe in-house it's not that big of a deal. I don't know. I wonder behind closed doors what it's like.
Very rarely, though, are guys in their first and second year ready to play at a Big Ten level, unless you're an elite 5-star.
I know.
I mean,
yeah, we didn't even mention Bricks. Yeah, Bricks it'd be really hard to ask. It'd be a hard ask of
that group, I actually think Gibson Pyle is as developed as any of them because he played at a high level.
Tackler guard.
When you guard. But who knows what he could. But you look at that group of players, Xander Ruggiolari and Gibson Pyle played the best levels of high school football. Bishop Gorman and 5-6A Texas football. I mean, so those kids have at least seen pretty high level football.
It's a real interesting situation. I mean, I don't know. It's just sometimes I think it's Nebraska media. We're so reactionary, and we've gotten more that way as they've struggled. That one injury to a second team offensive lineman elicits a ton of discussion. Now he could have been your starting offensive lineman. I honestly though, I couple the Lutovsky injury with this. 2 to 3 weeks is what they're talking about with Henry Lutovsky, and maybe he'll be ready for the opener. So then
that 7 is down to 5.
Right. Maybe he'll be ready for the opener. That's what Robin reported. I just think the Henry Lutovsky injury is really, really something you got to watch closely.
Well, and I think with Prohaska, like we fell in love with the version of Prohaska that we really only saw play for 6 quarters.
2021, right?
The Northwestern game and 2 quarters against Michigan.
Yeah.
That 6 quarters is what we've all wanted to see.
That was a long time ago.
And the reality is we weren't even working together yet.
No, we weren't. It was a long time ago. 2021. Those were 2 really, really interesting games. I mean, it was Northwestern.
One of the best offensive games of the Frost era against Northwestern. And then they went toe-to-toe with the college football playoff team late. But Teddy neutralized Aiden Hutchinson for 2 quarters.
Yeah, he looked. Then, you had former offensive linemen telling us Teddy looks like a first rounder, an eventual first rounder.
Hutchinson had no sacks, no pressures.
Right.
In that first half.
So that was 2021. 2022, the injury problems started for Teddy.
Well, he came back a little quick.
Yeah.
Then he fell funny, and then that's when he hurt his shoulders.
Yeah, that's right.
And then they took the 4-game red shirt that year.
Mm-hmm. In 2023, he played.
Not till game 3, though.
Yeah. Played. All right. And then you thought, okay, this is Teddy's year. Maybe. I mean, again, you're correct in emphasizing.
He was still number 2, though.
Yeah,
he was still number 2.
one. Yeah.
He did not take over number 1 until Turner got hurt.
Right.